Good afternoon. My name is Brittany Bolte. I am an entrepreneur in the agriculture industry. My independent agronomy business is Yield Plus Agronomics. We are based in north central Nebraska, covering this region of both row crop farmers, growers, as well as cattle producers on the ranching side of things. Today, I want to give you a little insight into my experience on both the business growth and development as well as financial side of working with a business coach and personal development coach. I started working with Kylan Hunt and Rebecca Hunt with 3i Life quite a few years ago, but more so in 19 and 20, and then since then changed our format and our program a little bit to where I'm getting coached on how to coach now because I have found in my coaching with those two regarding my agronomy business that has led to me being way more interested and excited and passionate about growing others. And we won't get into that side of it today. We're going to stay mainly focused on my entrepreneur experience with my agronomy business. Little background in my business: I was just part time with my Yield Plus Agronomics from 2013 until the fall of 2018, being focused more so on water management using soil moisture probes and variable rate irrigation. Then in 2019, I took on a row crop seed business dealership, and then have since grown into expanding our water and precision ag business side of the business, bringing in the animal feed supplement and salt and mineral dealership, and then got a potential for offering and bringing in biologicals and getting into the soil health and soil biology part of the industry. But for the sake of time, I do have a longer video if you want to get into a little more in depth of what my experience has been and the value that that's brought. But I get where if you're watching this, it's potentially because you're a little hesitant, scared, nervous, fearful of the expense that goes into working with a business coach such as Kylan and Rebecca, and the potential. How do you place a value on that time and energy and work put into it? For me, it came down to picking three things that have brought financial value back to myself and my business. And the first one is the experiences prior to working with Kylan and Rebecca on a one-on-one situation regarding my business specifically, was that my time with Kylan prior to that one-on-one, and the dabbles of just even 2 times a year, type of thing. And that gave me the tools and confidence and know how to work through and get the bid on a NRD and UNL research project using soil moisture probes. Of course, there are hundreds of probes out on the market. I definitely do not work with the cheapest on the hardware and the software side. So, financial, of course, is very in the research space where they are limited and based on grant money. We had to work through that and the process that went into making that proposal and then landing that against my competitor was a truly valuable and rewarding experience. Rewarding in the form of, over the 3 years that I worked with them, roughly a $20,000 net profit back to me and my business because of that. The second thing that I'm able to place financial dollars on is the but the growth of myself, particularly using the DISC assessment that Kylan and Rebecca promote and greatly in depth educate you on, is my ability to knowing that in order to keep growing my business and handle all of the business that's coming in on a yearly basis, is I was going to need help. I was a one woman show up until the summer of 2021, where I brought on a part time employee, a young man just freshly out of high school. And within his first week of starting work, we went over the DISC assessment together, him and I, as well as Kylan, and started the ball rolling to create the major avalanche of each one of us knowing ourselves better as well as each other better. And I'm in my mid 30s and he was freshly out of high school. There's definitely a generation change or generation difference there, and just our individual wirings of him being how he is and me being how I am, and in some instances we are exact opposites. So the price of putting that and developing him and bringing him into my business, in going and doing some rough math on having that employee, because I was in a spot to where I could work with and grow and build an employee to how I want to do business with customers and potential customers, is that he had the responsibility last summer of 2022, of two operations were under his umbrella for building and starting to grow and build the relationship with those growers, as well as in charge of scouting their acres, which allowed me to be able to go and bring on more hired consulting acres. And that alone, just those two operations of him spending little over half a day, not quite a full day, every other week with those growers, and taking those acres and that time off of my plate, amounted to just shy of $3,000. That freed me up to be able to spend more time doing other things, or just having some relaxing time to where I didn't have to get out the door as early in the morning, didn't have to work as long in the evenings, and maybe even had some weekends during the busy season to where Sunday I could do housework and personal work of things that need to go on, as well as a social life and family time. So those two things, you count in $20,000 on the probe thing, roughly 3,000 just in that one scenario of being able to handle and support personally as well as business wise an employee, and build and grow that individual to handle those things. At 18 years old, and 19 years old, that's kind of a scary thing. Think back to when you were that age, if you'd have been able to do that without somebody being able to coach you. And that came from the work I had done with Kylan, and what to do and what not to do in an employee situation, and not be a manager and to be a leader and a mentor for that individual, and understanding their strengths and their obstacles matched up with my strengths and obstacles, and how that works together, especially since we are opposites in a few things. And how do I build his strengths and make him want to continue to come back to work every day? And because then if he's doing that and he's growing himself, he just now in the last couple of weeks we were having a discussion where he said he's feeling really good and confident to where he's wanting to start getting into sales himself at 20 years old now, and because of the relationships that he's been able to build, because he knows how he is and how other people are wired via things like the DISC assessment. The last thing is that my work, all these years of growing personally one-on-one with coaches such as Kylan and Rebecca, not through webinars, not through books. I still watch and listen to those things and educate myself that way, but those things don't know you and your business and your passions, your fears, your struggles, your celebrations like a business coach knows. The one-on-one personal human experience is the priceless part that you truly cannot put a price on and the prices that I'm coming up with, or the dollar figures that I'm coming up with, are just based on, because of that growth, I was able to do these things. The last one is, a year ago I had the opportunity to propose and put together a full farm seed program, row crop, as well as some forages, and working through those growers' objections, understanding how they're wired, their personal goals, as well as their business goals with the operation, and alluding to them and educating them on how I'm wired, and dissecting how they are wired, led to me landing the sale, which then led to them asking, hey, could we hire you, and what would it look like for you doing full season agronomy support, scouting, consulting on this, in cahoots with their retailer, and what does that look like, and the increase of revenue in my business from that. And all of that stemmed from, I'm confident it stemmed from my time and work on one-on-one, and what is most important to me, and where are things going in my business, and what needs to happen within me personally for that to take place. The seed, came up to, without taking expenses out of, deliveries and housing, all of that kind of stuff, just a basic flat number, was right around $30,000. And then if you throw in the hired agronomy, because of that relationship that I had started and working on and growing with them, I don't remember that number off the top of my head, and I did not dig through my books on it, but just the seed alone and what that landed me. And now we are continuing to work and continuing to grow and expand and dive deeper into that operation, because of that groundwork that we laid coming a little over a year ago in that. So I get it. It's tough to put and to come up with those dollar amounts, and you look at the monthly expense or the yearly expense of working with a business coach and personal development coach. But I'm here to tell you that it's a struggle for everybody. I get that. I've been there. I've done that. My long version alludes to a little bit more of that story and background if you are interested in watching that. But, and for what it's worth, take it from me in that it is absolutely worth it. Because now, as I look at things, I don't look at how things are going to happen next week. I don't look at what things need to look like in 6 to 12 months from now. I'm thinking 3 and 5 years down the road of what needs to be going on here that's going to affect things then. And what do I want that to look like? And what kind of time freedom and money freedom do I want and do I require that in that time frame that's going on now. And that's the value of working with a business coach and personal development coach. Holler if you have any questions. I'm sure Kylan and Rebecca could definitely, you guys have my permission to pass along my contact info, whether it's phone or email. Holler. I would love, love, love to work with you on those things. And my ghost, known as my cat, just came through my door, so don't freak out about that. But she's like, why are you in here talking? But I would love, love, love to hear more about you and help you in that decision-making process. And then we'll work with you as on the coaching side as well, to where it's not just those two working, especially being somebody out in the field working with farmers on the day-to-day, like I am. Farmers and ranchers, we've got some things that we can help each other with. I'm absolutely positive of that. Thank you for tuning in. I hope to hear from you, and take care of yourself. We'll talk soon.